everybody of hospitality, friend Glenn here. Listen, we already know Actable gives you the power to profit, but now they're giving you more actionable insights to drive that profitability. Do me a favor, take a moment and check out hoteldata.com. You're getting set for budget season, right? And this new benchmarking data is going to help compare your hotel's performance for the rest of 2025 and into 2026. Please check out hoteldata.com or the classic actable.com. Have a great day and enjoy the show. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to another episode of No Vacancy Live. I'm joined today by the incredible Anthony Melchiorri. I'm the so-so Glenn Hausman. How are you, man?
You're the only 10 I see.
Well, it's great to see you today. Listen, we've been having a lot of great
I'm in
conversations.
Tennessee. That joke was about I'm in Tennessee.
Yeah, he's in Memphis, Tennessee.
Let me ask another question. Like, do we have to call the No Vacancy Live live? We're not live.
No, I'm still working through this problem, but maybe today's guest can help us solve it out after we learn all about the luxury business. But I mean, I'm still streaming it live, right? But we're not all live at the moment.
I think we should keep it live because we're both alive.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. You remember those headlines? Saturday Night Dead
Yeah.
every few years.
And when one of us dies, we'll just say no vacancy. One of us is dead.
Yeah, I like that. We got a multi-decade plan here on No Vacancy. And while we know you're going to want to stick with us to at least the mid 2040s, we're going to focus on today's show right now. We're going to be focusing on luxury, specifically California luxury. Anthony, what do you think about that? You like luxury hotels? All right, we're gonna be talking to our friend from ETC Hotels. I'm talking about Mr. Charlie Lopez Quintana. How are you, sir?
I'm great. How are you, Glenn? Anthony, good to see you both.
Good to see you.
It's so great to see you. All right, let me put you in the middle so we could focus on you today as our guest. So, how are things going? Of course, you're with a company that's got luxury hotels out there in California, espousing that California cool vibe. What is the luxury hotel market in California looking like? And for those of you who want to see, I'm at Casa del Mar right here, right now.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that background, Glenn. It's a beautiful hotel. Look, we came out of COVID with a strong 21, 22, 23. I think 24, we see a little bit flattening it a little bit, and the same with 25 at the moment. But look, we have by far the best weather in the whole country, and we have the most beautiful coast. And I think the future is bright, and we all in the luxury space very excited about what is to come. And obviously, being in Santa Monica with everything happening in Los Angeles in the coming years, whether it's the FIFA World Cup next year, Olympics in about 2 years and a half, we are all very excited about everything that is to happen here.
Now, is your market softening less than, say, select service, 4-star service, or are you seeing like typical luxury softens less than the others?
Yes, very good question. Where we are in Santa Monica, international travel has always been, especially at this time of the year, during the summertime, has always been extremely important to the overall performance of the assets. And international travel is definitely down this year.
Yeah.
I think from a domestic standpoint, we continue doing similar numbers and doing quite well. But it's that influx of international traveler that is affecting overall the luxury space. I think when you look at, to answer your question, when you look at the 4-star upscale, I think they are suffering similar situations and similar environment, perhaps a little bit more than us on the luxury space, but it's very similar, I will say.
Interesting. All right, I want to just go back a second to what you said about FIFA and the Olympics coming in over the next couple of years. It's one thing I never understood. Like hoteliers will build hotels because the Olympics are coming. That's great for a month. Then what? How does this get you excited realistically? What does it mean for your business? Is it that people are constantly talking about the destination and people come? How does all of that work to actually make it something that you're excited about for other than a 2-week period at a time or whatever it might be?
Yeah, thank you, Glenn. Look, I think it's the build up to it.
Yeah.
I think it's the excitement of it, and definitely to your point, the name calling constantly of LA in this case that affects all of us. Um, but I think after the fact, the question is what happens after. And I remember, I don't want to tell you how old I am, but I remember the aftermath of the Olympics in Barcelona in '92, where I started in my career in hotel hours, and it was a complicated '93, '94, but I tell you, it was a wonderful end of the '90s. So, look, I think if LA, which we will, that's a very good job and it's on the map, and everybody talks about how successful it is. It's all positive for the destination.
Yeah, and let me just throw in a little factoid. The '84 Olympics, the last time it was in LA, made money. One of the very few that not only made money, but didn't believe billions and billions. So there's hope. Yeah.
Well, I think from an infrastructure standpoint, there is no much investment to do. Los Angeles already have everything pretty much done. So
Yeah.
from that standpoint, I think we'll be good.
Charlie, I'm excited about the people mover at the airport for that to get done.
I know. Hopefully, look, I believe it when I see it. They're saying November, December, but I think it's going to be a little bit more into Q1 of 20.
Yeah, I was like, if Alice next year, maybe I'll get to ride it. Anthony?
Yeah, but it just seems that when Olympics coming in or World Cups coming in, it does kind of happen. Like it's got to happen, right? So,
Right.
so that's a good goal. But when you have the World Cup or you have the Olympics, like if you look at Lake Placid, like Lake Placid when it had the Olympics, it's still living off of the Olympics from back in the day. Was that in the '80s when they had the Olympics? Because it's all positive. So I look forward to it. I look forward to the invitation to come.
Likewise, you are invited already. Here you are, invited.
Exactly. Make your reservations now. Hey, and I wouldn't be surprised if people were accepting reservations. I mean, Christopher Nolan's film The Odyssey started doing ticket sales a year in advance and sold out the initial screening. So anything is possible.
So let me ask you a question. When you're seeing shows like a White Lotus and shows like that, does that help the upper market hotels? Because everybody's talking about that show still. And I know so many people going to those hotels simply because of the show. Does that have a mark on all of the luxury? And do you see people say, I want to live that lifestyle?
I think so, absolutely, and I think that exposure for the luxury hotels have been tremendous, and for the destinations. If you look, not only those three hotels that were part of the first three seasons, the overall destinations, they are sold out. Sold out in advance. So I think it has a tremendous impact, absolutely. Again, not only on the property, but also on the destination. Now, how that affects the other destinations that are not part of it. Look, every time you see luxury and you aspire to travel and to vacation in that environment. So I think it's all positive, Anthony. Yes.
That's great. Sorry, you want to say something else?
No,
Go
go
for it.
ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
So when we're talking about luxury, though, I mean, the luxury customer can go anywhere they want in the world, theoretically, right? And that's becoming more and more true. Plus, as a luxury hotelier, you're competing against all these incredible properties around the world. So, how are you thinking about that evolution of that luxury guest experience right now, and innovating and balancing what people's expect, but giving them the unexpected, but they didn't know they wanted kind of stuff too?
Right. Look, at the end of the day, and we talk about the word experience and experience and experience, and it's all about that personalizing the experiences of a guest. What we're doing, we're very lucky somehow because we are both hotels, Hotel Casa del Mar, together with Shadows on the Beach, combined is a resort on its own with many restaurants, a lobby lounge, different live music, two spas. Um, and then we have the beach in front of us. Literally, we are on the beach, but we are also fortunate that we are an urban resort, and we have everything that Santa Monica has to offer. And I think partnering with the destination, building up experiences that are not just only about the hotels, is about everything around you. I think is the way to go, because at the end of the day, people may choose you because the reputation of the hotels in the area, but is the destination what you need to really again strengthen those partnerships with everything that the destination has to offer. In our case, because it's an urban environment in LA County, Santa Monica, with everything that Santa Monica has to offer, is an amazing, vibrant environment. So I think we partner a lot with everybody in town.
Yeah, and when you're at that level of hotel, the people that stay at your hotel live that way and they're used to getting what they want. So at that level, it's not even experience, it's access. I want what I want when I want it. And when I call my friend John at your hotel, John's going to get me what I want. And the concierge, especially at your level of hotel, I think the concierge outside of the housekeeper is the most important person in the hotel. I always say the housekeeper is the most important person. But a hotel like yours, the concierge is really your personal assistant and gives you access that your money and your power can't get you unless you know the right people.
And I'll add face of the brand as well. Charlie, take it away.
No, no doubt. I agree 100%. Concierge is extremely important. I tell you though, um, there is another department that is like a concierge in advance, which is the guest relations department. And I think the luxury traveler, that engagement 3 months, 2 months, a month, 2 weeks, a week before you arrive is extremely important as well. And then the concierge is going to complement all that and make whatever changes needs to be done. And and I always call I always call the concierge. They are the ones that dance in the moment, right? And they can, to your point, Anthony, they can find anything you want at the time that you want and do it for you. But I think to have a base of experience already organized and planned through a guest relations specialist, I think that's extremely important as well.
And I hate the word stress free or but it's true. People just don't want to have extra things to worry about. They have enough things going on. I follow a young lady on TikTok that she's a high level travel agent, and she has her customer. I don't know how she gets away with it. Very high end customer on speaker, and they're speaking about things that are concerning to them. She has a straight face and she's always very polite, always very respectful. And people laugh. And like my friends are like, that's ridiculous. No, it's not ridiculous. It's when you're paying these fees, you want to know where your avocado was grown.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean that's an entry level question for me every single time. I'm at a restaurant. So I'm really curious to talk to you. You had mentioned partnerships and stuff like that, and what you're telling me by saying that is you really focused on that hyper local experience because people are coming to you for a reason. They want your incredible service, but they're also buying into Santa Monica. So how does that partnership? What does that look like to you, and how are you creating experiences for your guests within the community as well as in your hotel?
Definitely. Look, we are extremely fortunate here from all Third Street Promenade to Montana Avenue, museums that we have, the amazing restaurant environment that we have in Santa Monica, the layback environment. A lot of people may not like that word layback, but you know what? It has become part of luxury, in my opinion.
Uh-huh.
I think the stuffiness and all that is part of the past, and luxuries to be able to be you, how you want to be you, and in the way you want it to be. So I think Santa Monica offers all that. And again, and then goes beyond a little bit beyond Santa Monica. I mean, we have Malibu, we have Venice, we have the South Bay, and then obviously, if we want to go into the Los Angeles Hollywood Arena, Beverly Hills, we arrange all that from museums to personalized shopping, anything that the guests will want to have.
Yeah, and I love what you said. There was a brand, I won't mention it, that came out about 15 years ago, and they came out the way a five-star brand would have come out 25 years ago, 30 years ago. And they realized quickly that that's not what people want anymore. When I'm spending all this money, don't tell me how to dress, don't tell me what to do, don't tell me how to act. if I want to come in my t-shirt, my shorts, and my clogs, yeah, it's a beautiful restaurant, so I'll probably be appropriate. But if I'm in the mood, like if I don't want to get dressed, I'm not getting dressed. And I'm not like that. I like dressing, but my point being is, I love that you said that. It's like, don't tell the guest how to show up. Like, they're paying those fees because they don't want to be told what to do. And most of them have built their own businesses, so they're not used to being told what to do.
Exactly. Exactly. Look, at the end of the day, and not to sound repetitive, you were talking about dressing, but also it's a little bit on the timing. Look, if I'm gonna be 45 minutes late, don't tell me that I'm late. Just deal with it and and accommodate me. And it's all together, right?
I love that. I love that. And you have to have the talent to know how to do that. I just had a unfortunate experience with the airline I fly, and an elite member. And this one person, I've been flying this airline for 15 years. This one person was not very good. And I said to them, I said, stop apologizing. And I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to, but you need to go get retrained. You have to ask your boss to go retrain you because you don't belong in that position, because I'm a very nice person. And so I'm being kind and I'm not being overly demanding, but you just don't deserve to be in that seat yet. And when you do, you'll be great at it. So I'm not going to complain. I'm not getting mad at you, but it was so blaring because their service is so amazing that it was such a blaring thing. So how do you, in today's environment, I just got off stage talking about generations today, and I don't really play that. I don't like that because we all want to be in person. We all use technology. So it's not about the generations today, or because when I was growing up in this business, my boss was in a different generation. And if he wanted my opinion, he'd give it to me. So, every generation's different. So it's just knowing how to find that person's spirit and how to, light that spirit on fire. So how do you handle that? Because like I'm sure it's hard to find people and kids today and people today, and they don't value the same things we do. How do you get past that?
And let me just want to get off my lawn for fun. All right, go for it.
Look, you talk about many things in that question. You talk about generations. Um, yes, the generations are totally different in the way I was raised in this business, and in the way um, the new generation is coming at it is totally different. And I think a lot of it is the cell phone. I think there is an addiction to the cell phone. I think there is a lack of focus that is evident. And I think the more you can call it training, you can call it mentoring, you can call it whatever you want, but the more time you spend with your staff, talking to them about focus, 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 be in the moment, be with the guests, be in the moment, don't worry about anything else, and finding an environment in which they know and they believe that is the right thing to do. I think is extremely important. That you talk about this opportunity that you had at the airport. Look, it only takes one person, like you were saying, to change a little bit or a lot the outlook that you have of a company, of an organization, which is a shame, right? That it only takes one person. But I think telling the employees exactly that when you train them, hey, it only takes one of us to have a bad day to change the perspective of a customer, and that is not acceptable. So we all need to be with our A game at all times. So I think it's a lot of motivation, inspiration, constantly talking. Um, I was raised on the Ritz Carlton wall, and I think the daily lineups are non-negotiable. Period. And if you don't spend 10, 15 minutes with your staff talking about the day before, about everything that we did great, and about the couple of things that we could have done better, and you talk about culture and you talk about service, if you don't do that, it's a matter of time that, sorry, you're no luxury anymore because you become mediocre.
Yeah, it's daily stand-ups. It's like going to church. It's if you don't go, like you have to go, right? But you said something that's very interesting. You said something that I relate to because I think we come from the same generation. We're about the same age, and we came up the same way. Basically, is I was born the way I was raised in this business. Those words are amazing. Those words mean something. And if you have those daily stand-ups, and if you do have that focus, and you do have that religion of service, people almost feel like they have to go in that direction. So even if you're a generation today, when you're our age, you will say, I was raised in this business by so and so. Because it takes that focus, it takes that determination. It's like, I'm not letting you turn left. You got to stay here. You got to stay focused. That's how you get to use the word I was raised in this business. And a lot of people don't talk that way anymore. But if you continue that focus, they will talk that way. Because I talk that way. It's like I was raised in this business. Eric Long was my mentor. I said, I was raised in this business by a guy like Eric Long, right?
Yeah,
Long,
Waldorf.
yeah, yeah. And people loved him, but also people, they were a little afraid of him. But I was raised with the guest and the employee is what you're focused on. And if you're not doing those dailies, you don't have a business.
And also you have learned throughout your career that when you deviate from that, you fail. When you stop doing that, you fail miserably.
I will tell
You gotta
I will
keep
tell you
focus on
something.
that.
And you fail. I'll tell you something. When that person, like my flight was delayed 5 hours, and it was real that my keynote this morning was I was going to miss it, and because the plane may have not taken off. So I was cool because I'm an easy traveler. I travel a lot, like all of us. And so I went up to that person and I said, "Hey, what's going on?" They said they rescheduled me, but I don't see reschedule. And he was like, I was annoying him. To the credit of the airline, his teammate saw what's going on, and I guess what she was dealing with was very easy. So she said, "Excuse me, sir, my partner is going to take care of you, sir. Can I take care of you for a second?" She immediately handled me, and I hugged her and I loved her, and I was like, "That was brilliant.
Yeah.
That was absolutely brilliant."
That's excellent. It's about being the hero, right? She noticed that someone was not doing a good job and stepped in and became the hero. And we talk constantly in our company about becoming a hero.
I love
And be
that.
that hero all the time. And we reward for that, obviously, and we recognize our team members. And I think is a lot about that. We all have new employees that need further training, but if you have coworkers that are there to put the red cape and become Superman or whoever you want for you, and teach you how to do it, coach you how to do it. I think sometimes you learn more from an experienced coworker sometimes than from your manager. And when you have that environment that your team members are strong and they care about what they do, it's also, it just gets into you.
Yeah, and A players can't stand B players, and B players can't stand A players. And when you get around A players, it's like it's a drug. And you don't want it. It's not about disappointing your boss. It's about disappointing your coworker. It's you tolerating a mediocre employee is poison for your hotel because everybody's watching that. And then once you get that formula, you never have to worry about, really terminating someone because they usually terminate themselves because they realize they can't run as fast as the person next to them. And the last thing we want to do is be embarrassed. So we'll take ourselves out of the game before we line up every day, realizing we can't handle this.
Music to my ears.
All right,
It's
so
true.
I've got a brand new idea, right? Instead of having to deal with disinterested kids who can't focus, what if you just communicated that to them solely through TikTok skits? Then you could come up in their feed and they'll know that they have to go do help this guest or clean a room
I love that.
like that.
Oh, that's a great
A
idea.
very good thought. I'm going after this. I'm going straight to HR, and I'm gonna put it on the training director on the tier.
I think back in the day we knew what success was, right? We saw the guy or the girl in the office as a GM and having this job and we all wanted that job. Today we have to explain what success is because they don't necessarily want that job. But we have to explain what success is. So good about yourself. So even if you're a year in this job working at the Four Seasons, my daughter worked at the Mark for a year, and then she went back into event planning outside the hotel business. And I said to her, "What did you learn at the Mark?" And she goes, "Dad, I learned how to do it right." So she has no desire to be in the hotel business, but she learned how to do it right, and she's proud of herself because she worked in the VIP office at the Mark Hotel, which is probably the hardest place to work in New York City. And when she left, she was exhausted. She was confused because she's like, "What the heck was that?" But she's like, "Now I understand how a Ferrari is supposed to run."
Yeah, I think the foundation of hospitality services is amazing what you just said, because I know so many friends that has studied in the hospitality business and they are super successful in other industry because the foundation of those learnings, I mean, you can correlate to many other industries, and I think it's so true what you just said.
One of the things I do on stage, I say to anybody in the audience, I say, "Throw me a word, any word," and I say, "I'm going to give you a 30-second speech about that word," and I do it. And I just did it, and get a nice ovation. And I said, "You know what the point of that is? Is the hotel business taught me how to be ready for anything, anything. Because the guests may say something to me I've never heard before, but I have to be so confident in my ability that I can talk to anything and make you believe I know exactly what I'm talking about." And that's what the hotel business treats you. You have confidence, but sometimes you have to have a little bit of false confidence to get through it, because once they see weakness, you lose that five-star guest.
I agree with you. At the same time, I tell our team members, don't make things up. You know,
Right. Absolutely.
don't BS yourself out of something you don't know. With confidence, find out the right answer, but don't go over that point, beyond that point.
Right, but you can say it in a confidence like, "I don't understand, but give me a second," right? And I'll get you just have to they have to feel, especially at that level of guest, they have to feel that if you don't have the answer, that you are going to get the answer, and because they're not used to not only no, they're not used to failing, they're not used to not getting what they want. So that's, like, foreign to them. So maybe you have to give them something they didn't know they wanted, but you have to be talented enough to know that and how to do that.
It's interesting enough on our annual certification that every employee goes through. There is a big chunk of local information. Even at a housekeeping level, 10-15% of the quiz are about Santa Monica and what to do in Santa Monica, not only about what we offer in the hotels.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's nothing worse than asking, especially in a five-star hotel, so and so is like, "Oh, I don't know. I don't know anything about that museum." What?
Yeah, I've had a number of times when I've asked for recommendations, they're like, "I don't live in the town," and like they think that that's an okay, acceptable answer. So hopefully we'll keep the luxury spirit alive. But Charlie, what's it like delivering luxury services in an independent company versus a branded company where your roots are from?
That's a great question that I was asking in the past. Look, it has been 8 years with ETC now. And before that, I was all my career, about 24 years on the corporate world. And it's totally different. I would say that actually um, the goals are purely coincidental.
Hmm.
Um, the, the way an owner looks at their asset or the goals they have to their asset, to what the brand has, is purely coincidental. Yes, of course, um, everybody wants to be successful and make money, but I think it's different. It's different because we are somehow corporate and we make our own decisions. We don't need to wait for someone that is 3,000 miles away
Yeah.
to tell us what to say, what not to say, how to do, what to buy, what not to buy, what I don't know, what speaker you put in the room, what is the silverware you need. It is actually very frustrating when you are in a corporate world and you need someone far away to give you all these authorizations. That first thing. Also, you can, we're talking about training of employees, and brands are very good on training, and I learned a lot. But it's amazing when you can take that culture and mold it to the destination, right? So in this case, Santa Monica. So I think allows us a lot, a lot of leverage and a lot of freedom, if you would, to create our own way to do everything. And when I say our a lot, because it starts with the employees. We take the feedback from employees, obviously mid management directors, and we all a part of the evolution of our company as such, and I think that's a beautiful thing. Another thing is the capital projects. Obviously, you want to keep your hotels looking as fresh as possible, and now that we're on this technological world, with the best Wi-Fi in town, the best phone system in town, the best uh, anything that has to do with technology. But you will be surprised how different it is on a corporate world, like me, directly with ownership, and the GMs directly with ownership. There is nobody in the middle. You don't have an asset manager that you need to please. You don't have someone in corporate that you need to please. You don't have uh, the owners of the hotel. At the end of the day, in the corporate world, there are 4 to 5 different visions and ways to do things, and it's very complicated and very lengthy to compromise. Where here is very simple. Our owners, Tommy and Eddie Slatkin, they are very keen in keeping the hotels luxurious from a look and feel standpoint, and it's very simple to do a renovation of a lobby of a guest room, because we decide what is the interior design company that is gonna support us, and then we have a budget. We look at it, and there are little changes to that. It's much faster when in a corporate environment, this budget needs to be approved here, then there, but then there are modifications. And then, you know what? Some people like that chair, but this person, which is the main person, doesn't like the chair. So you need to go back to the start for just one chair. So look, I'm very fortunate, put it that way. If I ever need to go back to the corporate world, I'll do it gladly. There is nothing wrong. I'm not trying to be negative to the corporate one. Just saying that my world is easier, and I feel very fortunate to be in this world.
Well, it's not only easier, but it's more creative. I always stayed out of the corporate world for that reason. But how do you, because typically I've seen many times people with your career go into the independent world and they get lost because there's no manual. And they're like, I don't know how to do that. And they forget how to think. And I'm sure you've seen that. So it's very rare, not rare, but it's not typical that you make that so easily. And not only you made it, but you really loved it and you thrive in that. So how do you tell maybe a younger manager that, and I'm sure you've seen it, where they come out of that corporate world, they come into where they have to really write the book, they weren't given the book. How do you, have you had that experience where you've had to mentor somebody through that?
Yeah, I think it's more simple than you think. You need to tell them, I have hired you because your foundation in the corporate world. You have the foundation from a knowledge standpoint that I'm looking for, and you should be extremely proud. Now, we may tweak a couple of things here and there. You may feel more creativity, to your point, Anthony, earlier on. At the same time, you may feel less support in some other areas. So you need to come up with those solutions at times, that you will have someone that will give you guidance in corporate. Well, you don't have as much of that. So it's all about us together, supporting and helping each other in our world. But the foundation of it all, I actually, Anthony, if you ask me, when I look at a resume, if someone has always been in the independent world, I may have, I don't have an issue with it. It depends on what. Look, if the hotels are unbelievable, I know they have the right foundation. But I like to see, obviously Rich Carlton, because that's what I lived through my career. But Four Seasons, Mandarin Peninsula, it's something that I'm going to value a lot.
Yeah. I look for, if I don't see that, I look for military. So if somebody was in the military, I know they can follow a plan and they can get in line. So yeah, I came from the military. So I was independent, but I could lead if you need me to lead, and I can, set the world on fire, but I can also get behind the housekeeper and listen to everything she says, because that's what I was trained. There's nobody more important in the military than the person that knows the most on the team. So follow that person.
Yep. Yeah, we were talking about heroes earlier, and I always made a point, because you're talking about housekeeping, but the cooks, stewarding teams, those that are never on the comments on the guest surveys because they are not in the front lines, but they are the heroes of the whole
Sure.
organization, right? they keep the ship afloat, if you would.
Yeah.
Well,
Awesome.
So
Charlie,
I know we're wrapping up, Glenn.
yeah. Yeah, this has been an awesome conversation. Really appreciate you being here today. Want everybody to make sure you check out ETC Hotels out of Santa Monica, where Charlie's VP and Managing Director. Charlie, thank you so much for being here, man. Please hang out backstage, would you? All right.
Thank you, Glenn. Thank you, Anthony, so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I love talking luxury hotels. It's always
It's what got me in the business. There's nothing I'd rather be wrapped around luxury.
I love it. And if you guys want to wrap yourselves around luxury, well, we've got one luxurious podcast for you to download wherever you get your shows. And of course, follow us on LinkedIn, YouTube, and wherever you get your socials. Thanks so much for being here today. Yeah.
You're seamless, Glenn. You're seamless. Luxury podcast. You're just seamless. Freaky free.
Yeah, I love it. And thank you, Anthony. And remember, everybody, you've got one life. So blaze on and
Be kind to yourself.
we'll see you all later. Bye.